So, President Fuhrer, our American fascist leader, is now socialist in chief with the UBI plan of socialist in chief. Donald Trump comes up to the podium, and he's going to come here to calm the nation. He's got all these experts. He's got Mike Pence is there, Mike Pompeo is there, some other asshole, another asshole, a whole bunch, like 10 people, like heads of departments and shit, giving this massive press conference, essentially to reassure the nation. Of course, Donald had a nice, calm presidential dignity, and he I'm just kidding. He got pissed off at one of the reporters and said Donald's message to reassure the nation is, fuck you, you fake news piece of shit. You're always trying to fuck my shit up, you fake news piece of shit. I'm trying to give a message to the nation. I'm trying to reassure the nation, you fake news piece of shit. And you got to throw this question. The trick question was, what is your message to the millions of Americans who are scared? What's your message to the country? Fuck you, you fake news piece of shit. Italy's death toll is 3,500. That's up there with China's numbers. China's numbers are actually going down. And Italy's death toll is 3,500. Not for sure where they're going. America's numbers are going up. So another reporter, they had great solidarity. They're like, do you think it's really a good idea to go off on Peter? You think that's a good idea? Is that a good image? Is that a good look? Donald J. Trump was unperturbed. I've dealt with Peter for a long time. He's asking for your message to the country. Well, I know Peter. He did ask that, but the other time he asked me something I didn't like. And so, workers are Donald's number one concern, so don't worry about, a thing working class. He doesn't even give a shit about the stock market, really. He was saying that it's wrong for corporations to have stock buybacks, and he said he would demand it because right now it's not fair. It's bullshit. He don't think it's the economy is tanking, and so the company will buy their own stock back now that their stock is worthless. And so Donald Trump says he demands it. It's not an executive order. It is. He said it out loud, and he said he demanded it. But I guess he didn't write it on paper. So he didn't go through his own process for how he issues executive orders. So don't worry about a thing, workers of the world. Donald Trump has got you in the palm of his hands. Mike Pompeo, the deep state department, that's how Donald Trump introduced Mike Pompeo of the deep state department. So not a attack on Mike Pompeo, but attack on basically his, the deep state department, the people that have been left over. They asked him if Iran had attacked somebody. I guess something happened a week ago or some shit. But Donald said we know plenty, but he didn't want anybody to say what's going on. Then they asked him, are they going to relax the economic embargo on Iran? And they said, no, they're going to keep America safe. And they're going to keep the economic sanctions on Iran and especially on Cuba. We're not going to take any of their medicine or any of their doctors or nothing. We don't want none of their vaccines. We are going to keep the economic sanctions on Iran and on Cuba for our safety. But Pompeo had reassured the nation that we're giving them humanitarian assistance. We're allowing medicine, humanitarian aid to get there. So he says he wants medical help to get into Iran. And this isn't about blaming communist China. They're not calling it a Chinese virus and saying that phrase over and over again. I've heard Kung Flu. I think Kung Flu is probably the most creative. And there is, a certain precision to it, and it's creative. So I think that's how names are, right? Cannabis is what the people who like marijuana want it to be called, but the enemies always called it marijuana. So marijuana was supposed to be an ugly name that the marijuana, the activists embraced and said, fuck it. You want it to be marijuana? Marijuana it is. So they're not about blaming communist China. Communist China is not to blame. I mean, Wuhan, communist China, the Chinese virus. We're not saying it's the Wuhan virus, communist China's. We're not saying that. What we are saying is, just make sure you take care of yourself out there, America. Go home, stay home, take a nap. You don't have to go around touching stuff and coughing on stuff and getting your diseases and mixing it up with everybody. You just stay home, just chill out. Mitch McConnell is going to be sending out $1,200 checks, so it's going to be coming to your bank account soon. 1,200 is greater than 1,000, but it's less than 2,000. There's only going to be one single check being sent out with Mitch's plan. Socialist Mitch doesn't want to seem like he's the socialist that he actually is. He's earmark pork barrel spinning Mitch. If it wasn't for the socialist pork barrel gifts that he's brought to Kentucky, Mitch McConnell wouldn't be in power. He's a socialist as socialists can get, but he's, about targeted, direct socialism with his, gifts to his constituents. Oh, here's a university. Here's munitions offers to keep from millionaires to, getting it. He says millionaires they don't deserve $1,000 check. Mitch's offer makes sure the poor doesn't get it. He's going to make sure that the poor get half the amount, not $1,200, but $600 for the 22 million people that's in America that are the poorest of the poor, including, most of those are probably Kentuckians. So for his own Kentuckians, he's not going to give them two checks, $2,000 checks. No. He's going to give them one check of $600. If that's not a slap in the face, I don't know what is. The poor don't vote. The poor don't vote. And so, in a way, there's really no political ramifications unless one of his, somebody who runs against him remembers this and brings it up during the campaign. Remember when we had an offer to get $1,000 checks, but Mitch said, no, Kentucky only wants $600? Remember that one time when they said, let's get two checks, and he was like, no, one check is good enough. We were going to get two checks for $1,000. Bernie was saying 2,000. Get checks for $2,000. Mitch McConnell says no. Kentucky only wants $600. Let's just give these poor dumbass Kentuckians $600. They don't fucking vote. It's not like they're going to fucking vote me out. They don't know what the hell's going on. Fuck them. We don't have to pay those dumbasses. Those bottom 22 million people. They're going to get less than the middle class. The poor need the money more. The middle class could probably weather the storm. The poor, this is so fucking desperate. This is insanity. Let's give them less money. Everybody gets a $1,000 check. Fuck this means testing bullshit. I'm with you, Sagar and Jetty. Sagar and Jetty, you got a lot of common sense to you. I like you, you old man, you old sport, you. So, $600, that doesn't cut it. That doesn't cut it. You have to, what? You're going to ask these poor people who don't vote and don't participate, don't do shit to give all their, Social Security and information up to a bunch of government bureaucracy just so they can help you for a single day? Hey, here's a $600. Yeah, here's a fucking big fat stick up your dick. Fuck you. Are you kidding me? I've been here the whole time, and you're just going to pay me $600 to pretend like all of a sudden you give a shit? You give a shit now because Wall Street tells you to give a shit. Even though I declared libertarianism is dead, it actually, Lindsay Graham, Rand Paul and Lindsay Graham are your last men standing for libertarianism. Lindsey Graham does not like the idea of cutting Americans' checks. The House package, he says it passed, it had wide bipartisan support. So Lindsey Graham is kind of indicating that he likes what the Democrats offered better than what Mitch McConnell offered. And I agree, Mitch McConnell's offer is dog shit. And only one time, no follow-up checks, and then making sure the poorest of the poor get half the amount that they need. They need double the amount. They're the ones that need the $2,000 checks. So Lindsey Graham doesn't like leave. He doesn't like paid sick leave. He doesn't like paying people just to, take time off. Anybody can take time off, and you don't know it's for the coronavirus or not. Lindsey Graham is just a, cruise missile kind of guy. So the problem is coronavirus is everywhere, and if you're a worker and you get inflicted with coronavirus, you're going to need some help. Lindsey Graham wants to help you if you're a worker who gets coronavirus and you can't work anymore because you've got the coronavirus. But he doesn't want to help anybody else. He said he wanted to go with the unemployment insurance route. So it seems like they can't, do they want the sick and paid leave program or the unemployment program? Because then they're going to get criticized with whatever social program that they pick. But he said he liked the unemployment insurance route better than the sick leave route. Lindsey Graham doesn't want to send direct checks. He wants them means tested, and he also wants those workers affected by the coronavirus to get taken care of. Nobody else. He doesn't like the government, giving out checks, which is traditionally the libertarian position. But what Lindsey Graham wants to do is he wants to float the loans to employers to keep their employees. So he wants the employers to pay the check of the sick workers. So that's Lindsey Graham's solution: force businesses to pay for those afflicted with the coronavirus. Force the businesses. He's not even pretending that he cares about the corporations anymore. Who in the fuck does Lindsey Graham even work for? Mitch's boss is clearly the devil, but Lindsey's boss is the dark Sith Lord. He's not even trying to appeal to Wall Street or corporations or the 1%. He's like, no, the businesses are going to pay for the sick workers, because if we say government has to pay for it, then all bets are off, and socialism is here to stay. So you have one bulwark against the onslaught of socialism. The ghost of FDR is haunting Lindsey Graham right now. And as soon as you go government, will we ever be able to turn that spigot off? So these are good questions to ask. I'm a liberal, and they are spending too much fucking money, and they need to slow the fuck down. So Lindsey Graham isn't wrong, but we do need to hurry up and get the UBI, passed and get to the American people as quick as possible. So Lindsey Graham ain't wrong, but he's totally wrong, and he's been wrong his whole life. So, suck it up, Lindsey. Gag on it, just like Mitch McConnell said. Hold your nose and vote for it. Just let Mitch McConnell shove his agenda down your throat, Lindsey, and just gag on it and vote for it. Come on! Be a trooper! Republicans are the ones holding this shit up. They had that bill passed on Monday. What the fuck, Republican Senate? It's, batter up. It's your turn. What are you guys going to propose? Where are you guys at? You guys don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You guys aren't even in agreement. Anyways, Lindsey Graham, last bulwark against socialism, the last libertarian standing.